All right, guys. So our next topic here is going to kick us over to I don't even know what we can call this right now because this is it's not the DC universe, but it's not the DCEU. I don't know what this is. Kind of the DC universe is out in limbo right now because the property that hasn't happened yet, and it was the Nightwing movie that was formerly in development like a couple years back, around the same time Joss Whedon was working on the Batgirl movie that he was developing. Now they've since gone a different direction with that. The director Chris McKay, who directed the Lego Batman movie, was he announced and he was attached to be writing and directing a Nightwing film. And he has since directed the upcoming movie with Chris Pratt, the Tomorrow War film coming out on Amazon here in the coming weeks. I think it's like July 2nd it's available. So he directed that, and then recently here during an interview here, he brought up that he is still hopes that he could actually be making this Nightwing film, which it's interesting because up until this point, like I said, we don't even know what kind of universe this Nightwing movie was going to be in. But I think now that DC, ever since Fandom and Walter Amada came out and said that they're really leaning into this multiverse stuff, I honestly think that now is kind of the perfect time to bring in this Nightwing character because they wouldn't even need to connect it to like Ben Affleck's Batman. They wouldn't have to do anything like that. Since they're doing this they're able to do these standalone movies like Joker and then Robert Pattinson's Batman. They can go ahead and make a Nightwing movie and not have to worry about how it connects to Ben Affleck's Batman or Robert Pattinson's Batman or anything like that. So I do think now is kind of probably the best time to do this. But I'm gonna go ahead and just read what he had to say here because it's nothing like too crazy by any means, but I thought it was kind of interesting because he says, "What I hope is that Warner Brothers and DC watch the Tomorrow War," which I said is a movie that he just recently made with Chris Pratt and everything, and get really excited again about the Nightwing movie that we've been talking about. And then he said, "I hope we get a chance to go out and make that Dick Grayson and Nightwing film, that particular part of Robin growing from being under Batman to becoming Nightwing and Bloodhaven and all that stuff. It's a really personal story to me." So I like that too. It's always nice. It's not an important thing by any means, but I always personally like when like a director or a writer has some sort of personal attachment or investment into the character because it doesn't always really matter by any means. You just get a good like you get a good writer, good director, they make a good movie most of the time. But when you have one that actually is kind of a little bit more steeped into the lore in some way and actually cares about the material, a lot of times it's a good mixture for success here. So, and I did like if you never saw the Lego Batman movie, you could tell that the dude loves that world. Like that movie was just drenched in like Batman Easter eggs and love and just everything like that. So I was always very excited to see Chris McKay doing something else with like a live action DC character like in Nightwing too, because Nightwing is such a cool character, and he's never really like the Titan show really hasn't done him all that great. Like the show's not amazing, it's not terrible, but
I'm surprised we haven't seen like a Nightwing film yet.
that's what I'm saying. Like I think we're kind of due for it.
But
Like,
yeah, I mean,
like in all honesty.
and I think
So
it'd be cool, like you said too, the whole standalone thing. It doesn't have anything to do with any of the other movies or anything like that. Just make a cool Nightwing movie, you know?
yeah, exactly. 'Cause that's the thing. That's the problem they would run into if they have to connect it because if they were gonna say that Ben Affleck was the Batman for this Nightwing, then they have to go in and further explain the dead Robin character. Like, so
Right.
was that Jason Todd at that point, or was like because we don't even I don't even think it's been confirmed whether or not like Zack Snyder has said which Robin that was. I don't think they said whether or not it was Dick Grayson or if they said it was Jason Todd or whatever, or Tim Drake. Like, who knows? Like, I don't think it's ever been clarified. The assumption would be that it was Jason Todd, but at that point in time, with that, it would also indicate that there had to have been a Nightwing out there at some point,
Right.
which again was never really expanded on in the Snyderverse
Talked
itself.
about, explained, or anything.
Yeah, so it's not like it would be hard to suggest that, but it'd be a hell of a lot easier if Chris McKay could just come in and write a Nightwing movie, and kind of like how Titans does. Like we know Batman exists in that world, and Jorah Mormont himself played Bruce Wayne in that world. So like there's a completely different Batman there, and they're just telling that story of Robin or Nightwing.
Right.
So that would kind of be the easiest way to go about it. Just go and tell the Nightwing story you want. Just like the Nightwing comics, there's those standalone Nightwing comics, and there's standalone Batman comics, and just there can be a Nightwing run that's referencing a Batman in the comics that is not the same Batman that's going on during the mainline Batman comics right now.
Right,
It's really
right.
no different. That's why I'm kind of happy about the direction DC's going with this multiverse stuff, because it does allow them to just tell good stories and not worry about whatever the hell else is going on. Just
True.
so I'm excited for that. And the last thing he kind of goes on to say is they asked him like what kind of movie this would be. And he says, I hesitate to even bring up comparisons to other action movies because it might even give too much away. Because to me, it's an action thrill ride movie that's got an emotional story at its heart. It's a little bit about growing up under the shadow of somebody and coming into your own. I'm super excited about that, and I hope that we are in a place after Tomorrow War comes out that Warner Brothers wants to make that Nightwing movie. So the one thing I do kind of take away from this and him like referencing, like hopefully after Tomorrow War's out, that like the Warner will want to do it. It almost makes me seem like Warner Brothers had hesitations about giving him the opportunity to make a live action movie.
Right.
Like, I don't know if he's made other I know he made Lego Batman and everything. I'm not sure what his resume had prior to Lego Batman, but it almost just sounds like it just seems like Warner Brothers was like hesitant with wanting him to do it. Is what I'm
Right.
getting from it. Because it sounds like he's saying like,
He's
you
trying
know,
to like.
hopefully after they see Tomorrow War, they'll know that I can make a good fucking live action movie.
That's
Like,
what I was gonna say. It's almost like he's got to like prove himself with that.
yeah, that's what it seems like. Like,
It's what he made it sound like.
yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm picking up. And granted, given the former or current/former leadership that was over at Warner Brothers, I wouldn't doubt it. Like, they didn't know what the hell they wanted to do. They haven't known what the hell they wanted to do, especially with DC properties for the last 7 years.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised about all that, in all honesty. So in the end, I hope this Tomorrow War movie is good, so that if like this is like something he's able to like use and present to them and say, this is the idea I have for Nightwing. Like, he at least would have something he could reference, even. You know what I mean? Just like, even if it wasn't them just like not believing he could do it, at least now he went out and he made this movie that is an action movie in some degree, so he can just
Yeah.
say like he could use it for his pitch. Like
Right. Like, look what I did with this, assuming that it's a good movie.
yeah, assuming it's good, yeah, for sure, or at least if there's some cool shit in it,
Right.
at
Like,
least something. Because I want to see this movie, and like I said, if you haven't seen Lego Batman, go watch Lego Batman and tell me that the guy who made Lego Batman would not be absolutely perfect to make any other kind of Batman related movie. Because the dude knows what the hell he's doing, and he gets the characters. Like, obviously, they'd be completely different kind of movies. Lego Batman movie was like a comedy more so than anything, but the
yeah.
dude understood the world. Like,
Right.
he got it. So I hope this all works out for him. So would you said too, like you'd be excited to see a Nightwing movie?
It'd be cool. You've never seen one before, like it'd be neat to see what they could actually do with like a full scale movie with that kind of character.
That's what I'm saying. I thinking like he's saying it'd be really cool. Like the Nightwing character in and of himself is a cool character. Like
Yeah.
everything he was saying, he lost his parents just like Bruce did, and then Bruce takes him in, but then he grows up in the shadow of fucking Batman. You know
Right.
what I
That's
mean?
pretty big shoes to fill.
Exactly. So like you can do a lot of really good stuff with that concept by itself. So I hope that this does come to fruition. So we'll just have to wait and see though. The question is, guys, what do you think about this? Does Chris McKay sitting here even continuing to discuss the movie himself give you any hope that the movie is going to come out? I hope that, like I said, this Tomorrow War movie is good and he can use this as like a stepping stone to get Warner on his side to make this goddamn movie. Because I want to see this Nightwing movie, and like I said, I'm excited for them to actually do some of these standalone multiversal type of movies to where it doesn't have to relate to Ben Affleck's Batman, doesn't have to relate to Robert Pattinson's Batman. It's just a Nightwing movie, just a good director telling a good story, making a good movie. That's all I want to see. So whatever you think, let us know down in the comment section below.